Hi, SPT 204 and beyond. I'm Lauren Maupin, Mass Communication major, English minor, and I want to talk about self worth. So, self worth is something that I have struggled with, and it took me going through a bad breakup, and which included stalking and manipulation, which I will get to soon enough, to make me realize my worth as not only a woman, but as a person who has feelings. So, now for some background. So, I had a boyfriend of roughly over a year last year, this year, a little bit, and we were very happy together. We were in love. We communicated really well. We went different places together. We talked about our hopes and dreams with each other. We talked about having kids together. We talked about getting married together. Like we literally went down to into detail. Like we went down into how many guests we want to invite, like the color of our invitations, all of that. So we were really in love, and things were going great up until about February, Valentine's Day of this year. So my ex, who we'll call Thomas, um, we talked about doing all these different things for Valentine's Day. Um, that he was actually my first boyfriend, so this was really a significant time for me, Valentine's Day. So we talked about doing all these different things, all these different plans, where we would go out to eat, just different things like that. Like it was gonna be an event. So when Valentine's Day rolls around, I'm super excited. You know, I'm waking up, I'm happy. I even volunteered to go to work because afterward we were going to have our special moment and celebrate Valentine's Day. So I was just feeling good about everything. I was like, why not make some money while and then go and get and hang out with my man? Like perfect. So woke up super happy. Texted him happy Valentine's Day. Didn't Happy Valentine's Day to you too. You know, the response wasn't as like exciting as I'd hoped it would be, but I just shrugged it off as me being, too excited for the event. So I was like, whatever. So once it was time for me to get off work, I'm texting him. I'm like, so where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna do this? When should I be ready? And he's like, we're not doing anything for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, sorry. And he's like, why do we need to do anything for Valentine's Day? We see each other. We see each other every day. We're dating. Like, we don't need to sell it. We don't need to make a big deal out of one day. And I'm just like, where is this coming from? Like, and why are you telling me this on such short notice? Like, I thought we were doing all these different things that we talked about together, and now you're acting like it's not a big deal. And so, he's like, we're not doing anything. It's not that big of a deal. It's not about doing things. It's about, us being together or whatever. So, super mad about that. But I just shrugged it off because it was like, well, it isn't about, buying things. And, it was just one day. So, that was that. Then just after that, I noticed that he wouldn't do the things that he used to. Like that's a saying in songs and it's talked about a lot, but it really changed. Like he started getting more comfortable, and I guess he felt like since I was his that I wasn't going anywhere, so that he could just act however he wanted. Like he would talk to me all types of crazy. He would be very controlling, saying I can't go to this place, I can't go to that place, or if I'm wearing something, it would be like you wearing that to there, and oh no, you got to take that off, no, and just being really different from the dude that I fell in love with. So, it was, and also we weren't going anywhere like at all, and I wasn't seeing him at all. Like he had a daughter, so I would see him like twice a week or so, like that, which I was very understanding about because he had his daughter to take care of. But then that shortened to one day a week, and then it shortened to not at all. And it would just be that we're just texting, not even like FaceTiming, just texting. He would take all day to text back, just like an assortment of things that were just not what I was used to from Thomas. So April rolls around, and his birthday is in April. So the day of his birthday, I get him a cake. And first he tells me don't come because his family, they're all going out. Him and his family, they're all going out for dinner for his birthday. And immediately I thought, wow, I'm not invited. But I shrugged it off as being, whatever. I'm not invited. It's a family dinner. Then then he tells me to bring the cake. And I'm like, well, I'm hanging out with a friend right now, which I was. And then he tells me, did I ask you that? Bring the cake. And so me being me, I don't bring the cake at all. I go straight home and I don't talk to him. Long story short, I broke up with him. He acts surprised. He acts like he doesn't know how this could have happened. And I'm just done at this point because things are just so different. And it's like, in that moment, that was when I realized my self-worth. And this is why it is so important. This is why this is the subject of my speech, because it took for me to deal with a lot of Thomas's foolishness for me to say, this is not what I deserve. This is not, in my best interest. Why am I still hanging on to this? So the after effects of it was what was really a mess, because he had bought me a promise ring and I gave the promise ring back. He was hounding me for the promise ring. So I finally gave it back to him to get him out of my life. Blocked him on everything. Text message, all social media accounts, everything. So he starts emailing me and he starts, basically saying, you are a gold digger and you didn't really love me and you were just here for this, you were just here for that, and I deserve a girl who can do this and who can do that. You can't do any of that. I'm blah, 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 blah. So we're going back and forth. Then I say, you know what? That's enough. Why am I continue going back and forth with him? I'm done with him. So that was one instance. Then he would also call my job and ask for me at my job. Say, hi, is Lauren there? No, she's not there. Click. And then that would turn into him actually coming by my job and showing up when I'm on my shift, like literally passing by where I work to see if my car is outside, then coming in, harassing me, and would not leave until I threatened to call the police. And one time he showed up with an engagement ring, just busted it out. And I was just so mad because it was like, I'm done with you. Why do you continue this behavior? He would email me. He had his cousin emailing me, calling me a gold digger, saying I made the biggest mistake ever. And then I found out that he was talking to my ex-best friend while we were together. And when she decided to make a sexual pass at him, he decided to just abandon it all. He would pretend to be other people. He would call me from his stepmom's number. He would call me from different numbers, pretending to be this person, trying to find out information about how I felt about him. It was just a mess. So what does this have to do with self-worth? So knowing my worth gave me the sense to know that going back was and still isn't a good idea, because Thomas is still contacting me. This time he pretended to be some girl that supposedly is talking to him. It's a mess. I don't even want to go into it. It also, realizing my self-worth also gave me the courage to walk away from someone I loved and the strength to not hate them even after they tried to manipulate me. He was a major master manipulator. He still is, with trying to pay the sympathy card. He emotionally drains me whenever I did take his no-call ID calls. And I had to cut that off, because even after I broke up with him and realized my self-worth and the power that I had in breaking up with him, me still answering his calls and hearing him, plead and beg and make it like I broke his heart was really tearing me down mentally and emotionally and making me feel like maybe I had made a mistake. And that was a form of manipulation. And I no longer take his calls. He still calls me no caller ID, and I don't take them because it took me realizing that that is not healthy for me. And that when I cut someone off, it needs to be cut off totally. And I need to have enough knowing of what I deserve to say, you know what, I'm not going to put up with this. I'm not going to take his call. I broke up with him for the right reasons. So this is just to say that there will be times when you have to cut people off. There will be times when you have to say, you're not good for me. You don't mean me well. And it's time for you to go. It's time for you to just be out of my life. And that it's okay for people to not be in your life. No matter how long you've been tied to them, no matter how long you've been with them, it's okay to say, you know what, you're no good for me. It's over. You're out. And that is my final speech. I hope you have enjoyed what I've said. I hope that you have learned something in that huge catastrophe that I just described to you. And I hope, if you don't already know your self-worth, I hope you're a step closer to getting your self-worth. And I hope you are realizing the value that you hold as a person. Thank you.